Disneyland proudly presents the Main Street Electrical Parade.
During the construction of Walt Disney World, Robert Yanni, who was the director of Disney Entertainment at the time, saw the darkness that was the Seven Seas Lagoon and thought it would be perfect for a nighttime show to be a sort of send-off for those guests staying at the local resorts and also those leaving the Magic Kingdom. This eventually came to fruition about 3 weeks after Disney World opened on October 25th, 1971, with the Electrical Water Pageant. Now, for those who have not seen the Electrical Water Pageant, it is basically a light show in the water that features moving platforms with light-up 2D creatures like whales and a dragon. A few reasons ultimately funneled into Cardwalker, who was the president of Disney at the time, to commission the production of a new nighttime parade. These few reasons were mainly the fact that Disney did not have much nighttime entertainment at Disneyland that was keeping guests around till late. Also, Disney morale was getting low at Disneyland because they kind of had felt forgotten after the opening of their younger brother Walt Disney World. A few cast members had seen a light show in Chicago on Michigan Avenue, so Disney originally outsourced the construction of the Main Street Electrical Parade to the same company who had made those Chicago light displays. Just a few months before the scheduled release of the Main Street Electrical Parade, Disney had found that the Chicago company that they commissioned was far behind schedule. So Disney basically got a crew of welders and other temporary workers to just help them finish the floats themselves. The engineers responsible for the show also made a new automated show control system that was very, very innovative. The engineers basically added several trigger zones that would connect to specific floats to make sure that the guests were hearing specific music during the specific events, like the Alice in Wonderland music during the Alice in Wonderland portion. The music of the Main Street Electrical Parade most prominently features the song Baroque Hoedown by the music duo Perry and Kinsley. Robert Yanni had thought of using some of the music from Fantasia, but Jack Wagner, who you may know for the old Disneyland announcement,
Welcome to the Magic Kingdom of Disneyland.
suggested something more electronic for the parade, and Baroque Hoedown was chosen. Of course, it was obviously arranged differently to add in the Disney soundtracks. They worked down to the wire and were still working on the parade just a couple days before its set debut date. A day before the parade was set to open, a dress rehearsal was held, and it was a complete and utter disaster. A float crashed into a building on Main Street, and some of the floats were straight up shooting sparks. A horse fell over, and things were just falling apart. They worked through Friday night until the premiere on Saturday, June 17th, 1972. The original floats of the parade included the Blue Fairy, a large drum pulled by the Casey Jr. circus engine, Cinderella, a Chinese dragon, and a circus calliope. I have no idea what that is. Until 1977, a few remained as flat screens similar to the water pageant floats, like the American finale. The parade was very enjoyed and became an instant classic at the happiest place on earth. The Main Street Electrical Parade stopped running for 2 years as it was temporarily replaced by the American On Parade, which was created for the bicentennial, also known as the 200th anniversary of the United States. It featured a song written by the Sherman Brothers, who you may know for such classics as It's a Small World, Tiki Room, Mary Poppins, and Winnie the Pooh. The Disneyland Main Street Electrical Parade soon became popular enough to warrant a version of the Main Street Electric Parade in Walt Disney World. This version of the parade opened June 11th, 1977, and also became an instant classic in Walt Disney World. This version ran until September 14th, 1991, when it was shortly replaced by Spectro Magic on October 1st, 1991. Spectro Magic was very similar in style to the Main Street Electrical Parade and also became well beloved before Disney permanently ended its run in 2010. Another version of the Electrical Parade opened in Tokyo and another one in Paris. They opened March 8th, 1985 and April 12th, 1992 respectively. In fact, the version from Disney World was sent directly to Disneyland Paris for the opening of Disneyland Paris. Both of these versions were replaced by the same parade. that being a parade called Fanta Illusion. The Tokyo incarnation of this parade closed June 21st, 1995, while the Paris incarnation ran till March 23rd, 2003. Fanta Illusion was once again very similar in style to the Main Street Electrical Parade, but with many new characters from the time period, such as characters from Beauty and the Beast. Disneyland's Electrical Parade inevitably came to an end on November 26, 1996, and most surprisingly was the place that it went next, New York. In the beginning of the 90s, Disney was finally back after around 2 decades of box office disappointment. This began with Roger Rabbit and Little Mermaid and continued with it reaching its peak with Lion King. But after the extreme success of Lion King, Pocahontas and Hunchback of Notre Dame were both disappointments. Disney began to really focus on the marketing for their new film Hercules, and eventually ran the Hercules Electrical Parade on Broadway for the opening of Hercules on June 14, 1997. It ran with an opening float of Hercules made as a one-time unit for this parade. Disney convinced all the buildings to turn off their lights, except for one, that being their rival, Warner Brothers. After the Main Street Electrical Parade closed in 1996, it was replaced by a parade called Light Magic, which opened May 13th, 1997, and was considered a huge disappointment and closed September of the same year. Disney then sent the parade over to the Magic Kingdom for 2 years, from May 21st, 1991 to April Fool's Day on 2001. After that, the parade was finally sent for a return back to Disneyland, but not how you would think. In February of 2001, a new park opened in the Disneyland Resort, that being Disney's California Adventure. At the time, California Adventure was in a really rough shape. It was one of Disney's more budget parks and had a very low attendance after the initial opening. Disney knew that the return of the beloved parade would have been a potential attraction to Disneyland, so they decided to open in DCA to get California Adventure some attendance. When it premiered in California Adventure on July 3rd, 2001, it was renamed to Disney's Electrical Parade for obvious reasons. This version closed on April 18th, 2010, before being sent to the Magic Kingdom unchanged, where it ran till October 9th, 2016. Then it was sent for its triumphant return back to Disneyland Park in Anaheim for a limited time. It ran from January 20th, 2017 to August 20th, 2017. Now let me just say, this commercial that I'm showing you right now on the screen is my all-time favorite Disneyland commercial as a huge Disney history fan. It's just like a solid half a minute of pure Disneyland history fan service. I mean, they have the microscope from Adventure Through Inner Space, they got a people mover car, a flying saucer, the original Disneyland sign. Like, what is there not to love about this trailer? Anyways, enough about the ad. Just 2 years later, the Main Street Electrical Parade made another comeback in Disneyland from August 2nd, 2019 to September 30th, 2019. When it comes to Disneyland, this basically brings us to the modern day. On October 26, 2021, Disney Parks released a TikTok video hinting at the parade's return. This was then confirmed during Destination D23 around a month later. They also mentioned that the finale American float would be redesigned to be a more inclusive, taking inspiration from Mary Blair, who, if you didn't know, was the artist who designed the characters in It's a Small World, and featuring new Disney and Pixar films such as Encanto and Coco. On April 22nd, the Main Street Electric Parade, along with 2 other nighttime spectaculars, returned. Over the many years the Main Street Electrical Parade has been around, there has been many floats featured in the parade. Many have gone away, such as the recently removed American finale, the old Blue Fairy, not to be confused with the new Blue Fairy, a Circus Dumbo float, and It's a Small World unit, but I mean, we kind of have a new It's a Small World unit. Finally, there was a promotional float for the live-action Return to the Oz movie, released in 1985 for some reason. However, the Oz float was destroyed in the fire. Let's talk about Tokyo. After Tokyo's original run of the Main Street Electrical Parade, it came back in 2001 as a new version of the parade renamed Tokyo Disneyland Electrical Parade, can't forget the colon, Dreamlights. This version has more or less run the same since 2001 and continues to run today. A lot of the synthesizer parts of the music were replaced by orchestral parts in the Dreamlights version. Many of the recent returns in the Main Street Electrical Parade have taken parts of the Dreamlight soundtrack while keeping the synthesizer music. Lastly, I would like to mention the parade's spiritual successor, that being Paint the Night. I mean, this was literally marketed as the new electrical parade. The lighting and the use of screens in this parade is absolutely amazing. Many people think of it as a Disneyland parade, but it actually originated out of Hong Kong and Disneyland. It opened September 11th, 2014 in Hong Kong, and in Disneyland on May 22nd, 2015. And I truly hope this parade comes back soon. Main Street Electrical Parade will forever remain a classic nighttime parade that I think we'll see comebacks every few years or so. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed, I would very much appreciate it if you subscribed. In the next week, I will be going to Disneyland for May the 4th, and so subscribe to see my Disneyland After Dark coverage. But overall, Main Street Electrical Parade is a great parade, and maybe comment some of your cherished stories from the Main Street Electrical Parade or memories, and thank you a lot for watching.